Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Last Cloudia and happy anniversary. Today we're going to be talking about the new character and, of course, the new arc that's out. It's going to be interesting to see. Also, talk about a couple of the updates real quick after all that is done. So let's go ahead and get to it. And here he is, the myth, the legend, Shida. Now, this is a character that's been kind of low key hype for some people, and there were some expectations here. Now, when I first saw this character in story and just all throughout, I imagined him being like a hardcore mage. A lot of the mage types are the personalities that are super intelligent, always like the bookworm type. Kind of like how Zekis is. So, with Shida, I thought the same thing. He's kind of the mastermind. He's going to be a mage. Really, really specializing in that. But looking at what he is and what his stats are, it's a bit different than what I expected. So let's take a look and see what he really is. Now, when you look at his stats at max, we're looking at 1509 on strength and intelligence. So this is a hybrid when it comes to how you can use them between physical and magic, it seems. Even his defense and mind are very similar. And the amount of HP and MP he has is decent as well, I would say. As far as his resistances, he's kind of up and down on a lot of this. 5% here and there, up or down, and 15% up and down. And when it comes to ailments, he is at least resistant to silence, which is good, and curse. He's also nil to stun, but he's weak to being ill. So that's interesting up and down as far as his resistances are concerned. Now, all of his skills are going to be dark related, so that's the biggest thing to know. He seems to be able to teleport with some of his abilities, which is also kind of interesting. And his special, which is local teleportation, has a chance to insta kill, so that's, interesting if nothing else. As far as his traits, we have Divinity, Battle Start. His strength at least equals intelligence, strength plus 30%. Physical attack damage 40%, damage cap 10,000. His strength is less than intelligence, intelligence goes up by 30%. Magic attack damage 40%, damage cap plus 10,000. So, yeah, this is definitely some hybrid stuff. What this basically tells me is that this is a blank slate. You could use them however you want. It doesn't have to be a physical DPS. It could be magic if you're more into using him as a mage. So the fact that we kind of have a character like this is very interesting, I'll say. The second trait is Body Link. Battlestar auto cast Grand Brave, Grand Aura, Haste, Recast, High Protection, and High Magic Barrier. So that's interesting how they give them a boost to a lot of random things here. But I think it's cool. Again, you can go either way with them as far as physical or magic, which is where the Grand Brave and Aura come into play. And of course, you have the high protection and high magic barrier for the defensive part of things, and then haste and recast. Haste is for your physical, recast is for your magic. So again, this is completely balanced as far as how you could potentially build them. Now, when you look at some of his skills, you're going to see where you may have to put a little bit of work into building them up, and I'll go over that after we read this. So we have an anima. This will be the third one that we've seen. So the Nether Shade anima, all enemies strength and intelligence minus 20%, only while units alive, doesn't stack, things of that nature. So being able to debuff the enemy's offense is a pretty good at the very beginning. 20% is a good chunk to remove from everyone. So I like it already. This seems to already have PvP potential because of the start of it's something that's going to be free. So that's a good start of battle kind of scenario. Not 100% sure because I don't play a lot of arena anymore. I just get my dailies, but it just looks like it could work. But even just for boss fights, whenever they start off doing some crazy move, make it to where it starts off being less could work out. So now for magic, we have Abyss Gate, we have Black Hole. And now with Black Hole, you get a damage cap of 1,000 for this particular attack, and it inflicts silence, or it can inflict silence. Venomous Rainfall, which in my opinion is the best dark magic. Well, it's my favorite. I'm not going to say it's the best. It's my favorite. Basically, it casts pretty quickly, and you have a chance to do poison, which is an ability that deals damage over time. I don't know the whole like how poison works in the game. I just know that it works in general. Then you have Giga Weak, which I also think is fantastic, decreasing all element resistance of all enemies or attribute resistance. Yeah, that's actually really really good. I recommend that for pretty much every mage, especially if they're offensive or even just on the support side. It's just a good thing to have. For skills, we're looking at Attack up Max, Magic up Max, Fighting Spirit 4, Arcana 4, again a balance, Illusion, Divinity Slayer, and Divinity Geyser. So this is the second geyser that we're looking at. So basically, this is the magic form of a Slayer, and it probably does not stack with special boost. So the special boost is more of a specifically to Slayers, and since it does not have the word Slayer in it, I'm just going to assume that it does not stack with it, but it will stack with Divinity Slayer. So there you go. So you got special boost as well. We have auto advanced circles, which is fantastic. We have auto heal, which is really good too. Dark high boost, dark high drive, dark attack raise 3. Awaken shroud light, which I've seen before. Does Lily have this? I think so. Light and dark magic attacks have a chance of dealing critical damage plus 30%. That's pretty cool. I'm not sure who has it, but I think it's Lily, where we've seen this before. We have weak point shield. When attribute weakness is attacked, damage taken minus 30%. So another little shield here. Goddess Kiss, which is going to be very important for this character. Immovable object, high level magic chant, and Oregon Ring, which I believe this is the first character that actually has it in their kit. We've seen this from the summer arc that just came out. I think this is the first character that's actually going to naturally have it, which is pretty cool. Boost magical attack based on strength. Since the stats are pretty much the same and they're both pretty high, this is definitely good if you're going the magic route. We have Diablos. Skill attacks have a chance to greatly reduce defense, attribute resistance, and then deal damage. That's really, really good too. I'm not familiar with this one, but I'm assuming it is another character that has it. A character that I don't have, which could be like the Grog or someone. I might be wrong, but I think we've seen this once before. But I might be wrong. But this is pretty good though. I like it. Magus Sharp Eye. So this is new. Attack skills use 3% of max MP. For damage was 50% and damage cap 5,000. That's pretty crazy, actually. So there's a lot of damage potential in this. So again, this is for your skill, so not just regular attacks. Magus Magic Aura, which is the magic version of this. So attack magic uses 50% more MP for damage plus 75% with the damage cap of 5,000 as well. He even has Death God, because why not? If you're going to be killing him with your special, you can might as well kill him with your physical attacks as well. So basically, all of his attacks have a chance to insta-kill, with the exception of bosses in Arena. And then we have Imaginary Weapon, which is also a new one. Allows equipping of all weapon types, equip weapon strength and intelligence plus 50%. Really cool. So I think the only character that can equip all weapons naturally is Robin, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's the only one. So now we have a second person that can do it via this skill. And whatever you equip gets a boost of plus 50%. So that's really, really cool. And this is 50% off of the stat of the weapon that you are equipping. So just to kind of, it doesn't boost your natural strength and intelligence. It just boosts the weapon. Kind of like, there's a skill that does the same thing too for your weapons that basically no one uses. And I stopped using it too. But yeah, there's a skill that does something similar for specifically weapons. But yeah, so basically what this is telling you overall is you can build him however you want. Whether it's physical or magic, it doesn't matter. Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure the community is going to tell you that you're going to do physical, you're going to dual wield, all that stuff, and you can if you want. But if you're a type of person that would prefer to do the magic build, it's not going to kill you to do that either. You literally build him any way you want. You can naturally equip any weapons, all of his stats and abilities. Basically, can go either way with physical and magic. He has both versions of all the skills that he uses. So this is a true hybrid when it comes to physical and magic. I mean, number one true hybrid of a character. Now, where is he weak? The only thing that I see is just you'll have to spend some SC on giving him some boosts. So for weapons, he's not specifically proficient at any particular weapon. He's basically the jack of all trades and master of none. So you're gonna have to give him all the weapon boosts. So if you want to use a sword, you can do sword boost, sword high boost, or if you're doing stabs, same thing. Now, if you're going to be dual wielding with two different weapons, say you want to do the whole Trishula and Sword of Lost Souls, you're going to be doing the boost for both swords and machines. So, it's going to cost you some SC to build him up if you're, for whatever you're trying to do. But I think you'll be okay. Because again, as far as the elements, which is what matters for this person, he already has pretty much everything he needs, with the exception of maybe Dark Attack Race 2 is the only thing he's really missing. So, I mean, he's already good. So the only thing you really have to build up is just, his equipment. And maybe a couple of minor things. If you want dual wield, you can do dual wield. If you want to, stack on some of the, mage stuff abilities that could be better, you could do that. But again, it's a hybrid. So personally, I think it's a great unit. I'm not particularly a unit that I'm going to chase personally. There's nothing about this unit that says I need to pull on this. I mean, for me, it's kind of a skip. But I will say that I do respect the unit, and I do think the unit is good. But like I say, this doesn't do anything for me personally. And that's pretty much it for him. Now, here's the one thing that I do want for this particular banner, and that is the Council of 10. This is a UR arc, the newest. For each soldier, knight, sorcerer, or sniper type that is living allies has damage plus 1%, damage taken minus 1%, max of 10%, both ways. Upon using the arc skill, Council of 10, max skill stock plus 1. During wave, damage cap 2,000. So, what's interesting about this is I'm pretty sure with the whole boosting by 1% and max of 10% means that you can use mimicry to stack it up. So if you mimicry all of the human-based stuff on the characters that you're running, you basically get that boost. So it has potential. Is it worth it? I mean, it depends on how much you care about 10% on both offense and defense. That's really the best thing I can tell you. I'm not going to say if it's worth it or not. I really don't know. But it's at least interesting. What I think is really good is when you use the arc skill, getting max stock plus 1 is pretty cool. And then getting damage cap plus 2,000, which is not even attached to anything. You just naturally get it. That's pretty cool. You have an arc that's giving you 2,000 damage cap naturally. No element specific thing, no weapon specific thing. You just get a flat damage cap of 2,000 with no special thing you have to do. That's pretty legit, so I like it. Now, the actual skill itself, when maxed out, SAT gauge fills to maximum for all skills. Allies recover one SAT stock for all skills. So, the way that this reads, this tells me that when you activate this, the person that's equipped with this arc will have all maximum skill stocks, like completely full. Whereas everyone else in the party will just get one stock of all of their skills, as opposed to it being max. So that's still pretty cool. I like it. I think it's pretty good. Not bad at all. Now, what can you learn from this particular arc? We have Pose of Honor, Fighting Spirit 2, attack up max, defense of max, Formation Aldana attack, and light critical raise. So the new stuff is the Fighting Spirit 2, which I like. I would definitely want to teach that to any of my physical DPS characters. Having strength and HP is very important. Formation Aldana attack is new and interesting. So when party has at least 2 units and all are alive, unit deals damage plus 5% and takes damage minus 5%. So you might say, why 2? Well, there are some times, and I do this too, where if I'm like straight level grinding, I will just stick one, character with a friend unit. And so if you were to equip this with just those 2 particular characters in there, it'll get you a little boost. Now, you don't necessarily have to do it with just 2. You can still have 4 people and be fine. But, this is something that would be useful even if you don't have a full party, is what this looks like to me. So, Is it worth the 10 SC? I'll say it's debatable. I have no idea if this is going to be working it or not. So it's a lot of SC, but I guess it just depends. It's going to be some testing. But like critical raise, this is something else that I 100% want. I think is worth. So it's 12 SC, which yes, it is a lot. But critical rate of light attack plus 5% and crit power plus 50%. I will 100% slap that on any light DPS character that I have, assuming that I get this arc. So yeah, I'm down. I think it's good. And then as far as the Ether reward, we are looking at the Imperial Flag of Honor. So this 7-star or staff, excuse me, I thought this was an accessory. This is a staff. Strength 151, Intelligence 163, Mind 158. Really good set of stats. You got 3 stats above 150. That's actually kind of good. Battle start. Apply a physical magic attack damage plus 20% buff to all allies. That's awesome. So not only are you getting a big stats on your offense no matter what you're doing, whether it's physical or magic, you also get the increased mind, so your Proud Force procs can be a lot stronger. And then your entire party gets a buff, no matter which side you're on magic or physical, of 20%. So that's pretty cool. And yes, it is only at battle start, but with, arena, if you're really hardcore into it, I'm pretty sure this is a very strong item for the arena. So yeah, I actually think this is a really good equipment either way. Even if you're in a long fight and this buff wears off, you're still getting some really good stats overall. I mean, I can see putting this on, Leona or somebody, you know what I mean? Where, I have her built as far as a crit build. So giving her some, high mind, high strength, I mean, you're just going to be dealing tons of damage while constantly gaining tons of life. It is really good. I like it 100%. So overall, this is a strong arc. This is definitely one of the best URs I've seen personally. I think it's really good. The trade is great. Like I said, the damage cap just by itself is really, really good. And then, of course, getting some SAT stocks, the arc skill, really, really good. I don't have all the honey elixirs and all that stuff. I don't, or Willie's Apple Pie. I never got any of that stuff because I never got any of those arcs. So this will be a way for me to finally get that on a character when I need to. Obviously, I'll only be able to probably cast it once in a fight, but it'll be worth it for sure. So I'm happy to finally see this on an actual arc skill. The skills you can learn are also really good. I like Fighting Spirit 2. I like Light Critical Rise. I have a big question mark on Formation Aldana attack, so I don't want to say if that's going to be good or bad. And then, of course, the Arc Ether Reward is also really, really good. So all in all, this is a really good UR arc. Almost worth chasing. The reason I say almost is I don't really like the idea of chasing UR arcs because they're just hard to get. What I am going to do is I'm probably going to do the 9600 paid and see if I can pull it that way, because what you might not notice is that this and the new unit Shida are both on the 9600 paid, so you could potentially get it there. Again, I'm not really going for the character, but I would like to get this arc, so hopefully I get it on the 9600 paid, and if not, maybe getting another new UR would be really, really nice too, because if you add this one, there's now a total of 3 URs I do not have. This will be Council of 10, Lily Matter, and I think, was there a Luxeus one or something like that? But so those 3 I don't have. So hopefully I can get one of those 3 once I do my 9600 paid and go from there. But all around, fantastic arc, 100% seal of approval. And of course, we're not going to leave without talking about the paid items. So we're going to talk about the Hexbane Suit Sharda. Now, this is a cloth for Shida, HP 500, which is pretty good. Defense and Mind both plus 128, not bad. Dark attack damage cap 1000. Physical and magic damage taken minus 10%. HP plus 15%. And with a plus 10% on fire, and I'm assuming that's supposed to be a percent, but we'll say plus 10 on your fire resistance. So overall, the stats are pretty good. I actually like the stats. Like I said, the 500 HP is cool, and then the defense in mind is, not bad. And of course, the damage cap of 1,000 is also something nice if you're really going for some of that hefty damage. So there you go. The second item, which looks like a piece of clothing, but no, this is an accessory. The Hex Bond Coat Bulgaraid. So this is an accessory with strength and intelligence plus 30 and MP plus 50. The MP plus 50 is really the highlight right there. Dark attacks damage plus 10%, casting speed plus 20%, MP plus 15%. And then you get a resistance to illness, which is good. I think that's what he's weak to, so it'll kind of help balance that out. So now this is a tricky one. So if you're on a budget and you're only going to be able to get one of these two, what do you get? The answer to this question depends on how you're going to build it. If you're going to go the whole physical dual wielding thing, I mean, it's obviously going to be the. Well, no, you can't pick this for dual wielding because it's a cloth. So wow, so you would end up having to pick the accessory because of the fact that you can't get the cloth. So basically, by dual wielding, you're going to be losing out on the 1,000 damage cap. But honestly, that probably doesn't matter. You'll probably still be doing more damage with dual wield, so you're probably not going to miss out. So yeah, you're pretty much stuck with the accessory if you're the dual wielding type. And even if you're just building them as a mage, I still think that the accessory is still going to be better for you, specifically because of the cast speed. I really am a big advocate for having cast speed with your casters, especially when you're doing offensive magic. You want to be able to throw that out as soon as possible. Also, having the MP plus 15% is pretty strong as well. So really, really good. And it has plus 50 MP just straight as a stat. So overall, no matter how you're building this character, it's clear that the cloth is actually the less interesting item to have. And what makes this particular item kind of bad, now that I think about it, for this particular unit, because again, if you're going physical, most people in the community love dual wield, so they're not going to use this. And most mages want a robe. They don't want a piece of cloth. They want a robe so they can run like robe boost or a robe high boost, so they can get an increase in their intelligence and mind. And cloth is not going to do that for you because cloth is more for your physical attacker. So this feels like honestly a horrible design for a paid item for a character like this, because no matter whether you're a dual wielding fanatic or a mage fanatic, this item is terrible on both sides of it. I mean, now if you disagree and you have like a reason why this is okay, then I'm more than welcome to hear you out. But I'm going to be honest with you, this is probably the worst design that I've seen for a paid item. Like, this should not even be a paid item with that. I mean, even the damage cap 1,000 doesn't matter for your physical people because they're going to dual wield, so they're not going to use this. It's going to be useless. So yeah, I'm sorry about harping on this, but yeah, this just looks like really bad design. This should have been a rogue, straight up. But anyway, yeah, 100% Hexbond Coat Burgerade, the accessory. This is definitely the item to pick up, just because it's the only thing that works for no matter how you're building this character, like straight up. So yeah, very interesting. Another thing that I want to briefly go over, they are bringing back the 5 capital battle lords. This is the third time, if I'm not mistaken, that we've had this, where basically you just fight basically 5 of those knights, ward and all them. It used to be a pretty challenging fight back in the day. When we first had this, basically having a mage was a must for beating this up. I mean, if you had like Lily or someone, I mean, this was probably a cakewalk for you back then. Nowadays, this is actually a lot easier than I expected, but it's because I also have Eliza, which in my opinion is the best mage. It's my favorite mage in this game right now, 100%. When I used her, I mean, she literally just did all the work on her own. Didn't really need any help at all. She just, I did the whole like anima, I did the Giga Week, I cast Big Bang, and after a few big bangs, the battle was over. Like, it was pretty easy. But back in the day, that was a very challenging fight. But yeah, if you haven't beat this yet, I strongly recommend just doing it. It's not going to cost you any orbs to play, so you can do it as much as you want. So yeah, I mean, you're going to use up some red and blue stuff. That's about it. But yeah, go ahead and just do this. It's worth it. You get this particular weapon. The weapon in itself is not anything special, but it's important because you also have the four lords strike again. This is literally where you fight the advocates of God. So you're talking about like the Grog and Baron. I think it's Rabala, and I forgot who the other one is. Oh, Zuglas, that's the other one. So you get to fight all four of them. Now, I will be honest, I'm going to prepare you. This is actually a tough fight. This is not going to be super easy. You will need to have a decent team built for this with decently built characters. So the way that I beat it is I used Eliza because she's just the new queen for me. So it was her, A2, and Theria, believe it or not, and then I borrowed somebody's Kyle just to have kind of a bit of a shield, if you will. So this is why I did it this way. At the very beginning of the battle, the Grog is going to attempt to one-shot someone, and of course, Eliza was always the target when that happened. I remember I even took her out for Roy, and then she ended up hitting Roy. But anyway, so what I did was, so I borrowed someone's Kyle so that when she did the one shot, she wouldn't die. She would get some status elements, she would get rot or whatever, but she would be fine. Once that happened, I basically had Eliza do the anima, do Giga Week, and she would be casting Big Bang while A2 is basically running around just slashing everyone to death. Theory was there for healing. Now, I know it says no healing, but keep in mind, it just means you have reduced healing. And since I do have Theory built up with a lot of mind, I was able to get some decent healing throughout the fight. So I was able to keep my characters relatively alive. I mean, characters did die, right? You do get to a point to where they start spamming specials. So yeah, I did have a death. So I mean, it's going to happen. But overall, it still worked out. And again, it took me a few tries to do it. So this was not an easy fight, but it's worth it. You do get another item. So basically, you get these two swords, and this is one of them. You get the Zadosian Blade Broken. And then when you do the other one that I talked about earlier, the 5 Capital Battle Lords, you get the Zajador Sword Broken. Now, the reason that these items are important, you don't really need to use them by themselves, but for alchemy, that's where this comes in handy. So if you're into the whole Godforge thing, combining those two weapons gives you the Holy Blade Zadajosian. I'm not going to say it right, so my bad. But basically, they can create this. So this is a sword, light attribute, 352 strength with defense and mind of 48. Light physical attack damage plus 15%. Battle start and close to death. Autocast Brave, Aura, and Speed. So, really, really cool sword. I actually really, really like it. I don't really do a lot of God Forge. Like, I haven't made the God Blade or anything like that. About the only thing that I've actually made so far are the Pure Blade, the Berserk God Brigandine, and the Fantasia Cape. So, maybe one day I'll put it all together, but that's basically the reason you want to do those fights. If you're into the whole grinding for the God Forge stuff, you can get some really, really strong weapons off of that. So, also don't forget about the anniversary fights, so you can do, all this stuff as well. Just get a group amount of points so we can get more coins. You can use coins for the trading space to get a variety of good stuff, and you can get a lot of these items which are very rare to get. So this is definitely a great opportunity to pick up on these 9-star items that you need for either doing the Godforge stuff or for 5-starring certain units. Actually, I'm not sure if we need it for the 5-star. I think you just need this for the Godforge. But either way, there's a lot of good items you can get. Mega clusters, which are also rare and can be difficult to get to go for. And also the magic tomes, very important to get because these are necessary for the 5-star enhancing. To get like some of the ability notes for when you do your enhancing. So very, very important stuff to get. So definitely worth it. You want to go. I've already picked up some of this stuff, but yeah, really, really good rewards that you can pull off of here. So definitely grind this out. as much as you can. And of course, every day a different Mega Beast will appear, so you can get different coins of whatever type that you're doing. So yeah, again, really really cool event. I'm glad that they did the whole Battle Lords thing, and they actually gave a reason to fight this other than some of those particular items. You can actually combine them. I really like how they've done the upgrades for Alchemy. They made it a lot worth it. Back in the day, it was kind of to do Alchemy, but now it's very important if you want to get some in-game stuff. So I'm glad they're putting it all together. And of course, with the whole 4 Lords strike again and the 5 Battle Lords, there's actually a story behind it. So I like how they incorporated a kind of a backstory with it. So that's pretty cool too. Kind of reminds me of a certain scenario in Chrono Cross. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's basically like a sword duo that is like cursed or whatever, and you have to do some stuff. It's a side quest to make it pure or whatever. It's kind of something similar to that, but really really cool overall. So yeah, happy anniversary. Hope you guys have some good pulls. Don't forget to do your daily 10 pull. I don't know if it's going to show up for me because I think I already got it. Yeah, it's right here. Every day for a while, you're going to be able to get a free 10 pull. So be sure to hit that up. And for those who are either on a budget or are wailing it off, this is 100% the best bang for your buck this game has to offer. I don't really like to highlight paid stuff too much. I talk about some of the paid gear and that's about it. But of all the things to spend your money on, if you're the type of person who only buy one thing in this game, this is the one thing to buy. So you have to basically go to the shop, and you'll just basically the first thing you see, the 9600 paid for $100. It is a lot of money, but again, this is the best thing to get, only because you are guaranteed a UR. URs are hard to pull on. They can be really, really taxing. Most of the URs that I have today came from this. So, the only arc that I've gotten outside of this is like the War Ruin. But every other UR that I got came from these. So, yeah, 100% worth it. And a lot of times you can get multiple URs. Like, every time that I've done this, I've gotten at least, I want to say at least 3 URs every time I've done this. Now, some of them have been dupes, but at least I've got them. And dupes are not bad either. So, and then of course you're getting at least SSR or better. So you're getting at least 1 unit as well, which could be pretty much any unit, including Shida if you really like Shida, or if you like Eliza like I do. Like I said, you can pull a lot of these really, really cool characters. Again, the best bang for your buck. If you're free to play, definitely ignore it. I'm not trying to convince people to spend money. This is more for people that are already spending money in general. I'm just letting you know that if you are a money spender, regardless if you're budget or not, this is the only thing that's always worth spending your money on. That's it, straight up. Also, another thing that I do want to highlight, and yeah, I'm talking a lot more than I normally do, but it's just because there's a lot of some cool things to show off. Trying to remember what it was. I think it was for the. Oh yeah, I remember now. It's not nothing to do with alchemy. It's the Crimson Ore Shop. They have it updated for some of the paid gear that you could have gotten in the past for certain characters. So you can get Roland stuff, you can get Zykes, you can get Claire and Dalgion, you can get something for Del Morto, Team Keeley, which this is the one that I'm going to be getting first because this is Team Keeley is really really good, especially with the recent 5-star buff that she got. Definitely, this is the item that has top priority for me personally to pick up. Also, if you like Thunderbolt Sevia, these are really, really good weapons for her. It was kind of controversial because when Thunderbolt Sevia came out, it felt like, and I think other people have made that comment too, that it felt like the half of her power was hidden behind these paid items. So it's good that they're now actually, able to be picked up elsewhere other than spending money. And then, of course, if you're a big Lily fan, old school Lily, you got these items, which are also pretty decent as well. Basically, it's some elemental piercing, so that's pretty cool. You could also get something for Zuglis if you're a big fan of Zuglis too. So just thought I'd bring that up. These are definitely some really, really cool items to pick up. And if you're a fan of any of these characters, I highly recommend picking up, this stuff as you go along. If you don't have enough, you'll eventually do enough multi-pulls in your life to eventually get enough to get what you want here. And the pricing is actually not as bad as I thought it would be. I actually thought a lot of these were going to be 10,000, And I think the most that I've seen is 8,000, if I'm looking at this correctly. So the fact that it's not nearly as expensive as I thought it would be is actually pretty good. So yeah, I'll take it. So good job on you, Adis, for or Idis, for doing that. Really, really cool. But yeah, like I said, Idis has done a really good job of making their game better over the years. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect. I mean, there's always room for improvement, and there's definitely some things that need to be fixed, but I'm not the one to really go over that. But I can definitely tell you what they're doing right, and I think that with the Crimson Wars, with the Alchemy, some of the new stuff coming out, I mean, with the arcs and everything, they're doing a really, really good job. Keep up the good work. Happy anniversary. I hope you're here for another, few years, hopefully longer. We'll see what happens. All right, I'm done talking for today. I'm sure you guys are sick of listening to me. If you've been here this long, thank you. I'm glad that you actually care about what I have to say. I don't know why you do, but thank you anyway. But until next time, keep gaming, everyone. And yes, me and my waifu Eliza are doing well as a couple, so I appreciate that. Take care. Later.